We are live. This is Rich Lieberman, and we are on Google for a Wednesday. And I have some inside information that I'm going to share with you because, after all, that's why you come here. You want to get the media pulse, whether it's local here in the San Francisco Bay Area, whether it's national, whether it's sometimes international. I'm going to give you the real deal. I'm going to give you the no BS spin, and I'm going to give you facts and information, hopefully entertaining and straightforward without, the spin, the press release journalism that has become all too familiar here in the number 5 and number 8 markets for radio and TV, respectfully. So I broke the story last week about Reggie Aki being let go at KGO, aka ABC7. That's the ABC station here in the Bay Area, the owned and operated station. And I didn't know much in terms of why, but now I do. And he was pushed out, Reggie Aki. Now, he'd spent 10 years, did Reggie, at KGO. And he was a Disney absolute golden hire, right? Openly gay, very popular, had some CNN lineage, right? Only one problem. Well, more than that. When he came to KGO 10 years ago, right? So right around 2015 into 16, they were number 2 in the market in the morning now, which is very, very, very popular. Okay. And they have, Good Morning America as a lead in. It's not number 1. And locally, Channel 2 has always been strong in the morning, even though they themselves right now are in the middle of a blank storm with no confidence in management, with flagging ratings themselves. They still lead the market. But anyway, when Reggie came to Channel 7, they were number 2. Now they are even worse than Cron, I'm told. Their numbers broke down in the all familiar, the specific demos were advertisers by time, and their numbers were just going rapidly down. That's number 1. Number 2, KGO, new management people, a new general manager, and he wasn't happy with Reggie. I'm not going to mention the GM's name because you don't care, and most people don't know who this guy is, so it's not important. But quite simply, Reggie Aki didn't measure up. He had a good run. 10 years is 10 years. If you saw his emotional goodbye, he made it sound as if, that it was him who was behind it mostly. Well, it was not. It was management basically showing him the door. It's a cut and dry business, folks. Okay. You could be gay or straight or black or white or purple, brown, Catholic, Jew, as I've always stated. It's all about the numbers, the ratings. Ratings weren't good. Combine that with the fact that Aki was a misfit in the morning, doing unnecessary histrionics, acting like a buffoon many a times, being ridiculously pathetic, and apparently the majority of staff at KGO, particularly the rank and file, were fed up with those histrionics and the look of look at me, and didn't like it, and felt that he was turning the morning show at KGO into a circus. With all apologies, the circus would be far more relevant and far more legit. And, in his farewell address, and I'm not going to post it here, I'm going to let you go look it up on YouTube. He talked about and he outlined all the various co-anchors that worked with him at Channel 7, and it was a lengthy list. And I said to myself, why are all they leaving? Some of it not their own doing, and yet this guy sticks around. I'll tell you what, he had a absolutely core ally in none other than herself, Trixie Watowski, aka Tracey Watowski, the news director and vice president, who is slowly learning to understand that her panache, her juice is evaporating at Channel 7. A new GM doesn't exactly care for her. Why? Well, Reggie Aki, for one, news judgment in the evening, news acumen or lack thereof. The station has lost a lot of viewers. Well, you might say all of local news across the board has lost viewers, not like Channel 7. Aki wasn't particularly appreciated nor respected. It was a kind of a common assumption that he might go, and now it's official. He worked his last broadcast the other day. Now, back to Tracy, aka Trixie. She used to think that she was bulletproof, that she was not going to leave. The only time she'd leave would be on her own volition. Well, that's not the case now. You have a new GM. You have a new person, not only runs KGO, but KABC in Los Angeles. And he apparently is not very pleased with Trixie. Trixie has higher ups within the ABC core bigwig structure, with an executive, particularly a women executive, who is high up in the programming department, her ally. Yet that ally is no longer somebody that she can say, well, my job is safe because I've got such and such as, and again, I'm not going to mention the name because none of you have cares about it, knows about this woman. She's a TV exec that nobody cares about or knows about. But that was Trixie's ace in the hole. But now she doesn't have the cush feeling of, well, I'm bulletproof and I can stay here as long as I want. Just a couple of years back, she was actively, she being Trixie, looking for work, looking to have another news director job. In fact, even outside the state of California. That's unusual. That's a telling sign that that your days are numbered, because the people that you had faith in, the people that you relied upon to maintain your existence at Circle 7 are no longer your aces in the hole. So Trixie is on thin ice, okay? And as we are now in the fall and getting ready for the thrust of the holiday season, when ad buyership is usually at its core, when you can charge the most, it's going to be an interesting last 3 months of the year. It's not going to be just Reggie Aki. He was forced out. See you later. Bye-bye. We know you have a special place in the community. You've got people that like you. Some mostly detest you. And I'm talking about viewers too. He's no longer there. And one of his allies, the news director, Trixie, well, she might be a little frail these days up here too. She might be looking around and it might be more active. But just to give you the lowdown, folks, this was not Reggie kind of, oh, I'm going to get out of here and go somewhere else. Likely he'll end up somewhere else. Not in this market, probably, but beyond. He's got 10 years at KGO. But he was definitely forced out. They didn't renew his contract. And now he's gone. That's what happens when the numbers aren't there. And the numbers simply were not there. And you heard it and read it and watched it here first. Hey, become a subscriber to my channel. Tell your friends, your enemies, your priest, your rabbi, your lawyer, your doctor, your plumber about Rich Lieberman. A little quick announcement programming wise. Today is Wednesday at sundown. It becomes Kol Nidre, Yom Kippur, the eve of Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish New Year. Look, I'm not a very religious Jewish guy, but this is kind of a very, very sacred time of the year for most all Jews around the world. So, Erev Yom Kippur, Kol Nidre, is tonight on Wednesday, and Thursday is the actual Day of Atonement, the Jewish holiday known as Yom Kippur. I will not broadcast tonight. I possibly will be back on tomorrow in the evening, West Coast time. So if you want to see me, more than likely, you can watch me on Friday. If I do a broadcast tomorrow night after the holiday has become over and commenced, then I will post something up on Twitter, X, Instagram, so you can follow me there. And once again, it is in observance of Yom Kippur, okay, the Day of Atonement. And to all the Jewish people out there, Shana Tova, and we will see you soon. Thanks a lot for watching.